Mhm.
All right, welcome everybody to the All Star Sports Report. I'm Gary, as you all know. That's Mike Robinson. There's Connor. Mike Campuzio
Hello.
can't make it today, so we're here. We're going to talk about all things sports except probably NHL and MLB because I don't know anything about those sports. Mike does, and he's not here, and
Well,
he never
I
got
mean, I
back
do
to
too, and I
he
don't
never he
have a.
never got back with me on my text of what to talk about. So here we are. But regardless, nonetheless, Connor's going to join us for Formula One today, and then he's going to cut it out of here. And it'll just be Mike and I for the rest of the show today. But I guess first things first, let's talk about Formula One. Japan had a few practice sessions yesterday / today. And we've got some other news, specifically about Connor blowing up the Formula One world with his comments.
Take that out. Oh yeah.
But we'll talk about that in a little bit. But guys, talk about Formula One this week, Japan. What's good? What's bad? What's the storyline going into this week? All that fun stuff.
Oh man, lots of stuff has happened in the Formula One world the last couple of weeks. We've seen a driver swap already in the Red Bull, 2 races in. Going into the third race, we've got Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson swapping. So that's going to be fun. Man, the last couple of practice sessions, Connor, have been pretty intense from what I've been seeing.
Been pretty intense and pretty good on lap time coming from Sonoda too, and just pace wise, you could definitely tell he's figuring out the car. He's definitely comfortable, getting more comfortable. It's his first race. He's probably tensions are high because it's at home. But I mean, practice one, him being a 10th off from Max. I mean, they might have been on the same run plan, but being a 10th off like that, that's showing some good sign just in practice. Like Liam wasn't even doing that.
No, and I mean,
So,
and it's really, I hate to say it, but Liam Lawson proved Red Bull right. It wasn't the car.
it's
It
not the
wasn't
car.
the car. It's not the car.
It's not the
I
car.
mean,
I mean,
it's proven that Liam was not ready.
that and Max, he complains about it every week. I mean, the car sucks. Car's tractored, understeers on entry, oversteers on exit. So it's like they gotta tussle with it. It's a bull. They gotta fucking fight the bull. So
Well, I mean, and looking at the qualifying results, I mean, God help me for saying it, Liam Lawson out qualified Yuki Tsunoda.
yeah, but
So
also I mean it goes
It's qualifying.
It's qualifying.
It is.
The track changes so fast from each Q
it does.
run.
It does.
So if you don't get it right, you don't get it right. So it's kind of one of those things. Like you gotta make sure you're on it. Q1, once you get into Q1, get out, go to Q2, and then Q3 is your make or break. So
exactly.
You don't make it in there, you're back in the pack.
Yeah. I do want to touch a little bit on the scary free practice red flag that we had. Jack Doohan.
Yeah,
was he the one in the Williams that crashed?
No, he was in the Alpine.
Yeah,
but
he's the Alpine.
What we determined was he forgot to close the DRS before entering turn 1, so he went into turn 1 with full DRS open at full speed and just launched it into the wall.
That was a pretty scary crash.
Honestly, when you saw him walking away,
he looked sore.
It was kind of scary because he was on wobbly legs. So I'm glad to see that Jack is okay. And for those of you who don't know who Jack Doohan is, his dad is a very famous MotoGP rider and a champion MotoGP rider at that, and Mick Doohan. So his dad's taken some pretty hellacious wrecks and high sides before, but man, to see Jack take that kind of hit in turn 1, and Connor, turn 1 is fast.
Yeah, you were hauling ass through that thing.
You really are.
In anything you drive, you are full beans through turn one.
It to see him hit that hard and that car hit the way it did,
Yeah,
Jack got his bell rung. Jack
he
got
did.
his bell rung.
So I've experienced that in sim games, like driving the old DTM cars that had DRS and racer.
Yeah.
I had it on one time, not realizing, and I come into the Schumacher S's at Nürburgring.
Shoink! Whoop!
I went right around. So at first I didn't see the rear wing open when I was watching it, but I always know if you touch that grass over there, it does the same thing.
Exact same thing.
So I was like, no, and then I seen a thing that said that he had the DRS open. I was like, oh, I'll do it.
Oh, and you could see it on the wheel because the 5 green lights mean, oh, hey, your DRS is open. He went into that thing, and right when you see him counter steer, you see the 5 green lights. So it's like, oh no, Jack. Because normally, like, we're so used to DRS closing when you get on the brakes.
Mm-hmm.
And for this new stuff that they got going on, it's new, so they don't have the brake to automatically close it like it has in the past. They have to manually open and close it.
Well, that, and you're braking. They're braking as soon as they're coming in.
Oh yeah, because you're already turning, and then you're already trail braking going into that second apex. So
yeah,
but glad to see that
definitely
Jack has walked away okay.
Rustled its feathers, that's for damn sure. But you can just tell that how strong these cars are nowadays. So you can
thank
get
God.
into a wall at 100 and something miles an hour and you get out just fine.
I mean, he's lucky because that was a hellacious hit.
That was
Yeah,
scary.
definitely was.
But we saw Max take pole, miracle pole. Actually, it's a miracle pole. If I can be honest with you, it is a miracle pole.
My favorite thing that was said was what
Fernando
said. That?
It really was a miracle pole because this Red Bull's kind of
okay.
It sucks.
All right.
It sucks. It sucks. Like the McLaren's going to be the team to beat this year. Hands down.
Yeah, for sure. They were last year. They were strong last year. They're already strong this year.
Yeah.
The roles are reversed. So now my boy's got to do something about it. You know.
Yeah.
But now Max has a confident person next to him that has shown maturity, a lot of maturity from back in the day, AlphaTauri days. You know. So to see him being consistent and just being better than than Lawson was. I hate to say it because I love Lawson.
So do I.
I watched Super Formula, so the kid can drive. It's just
he wasn't ready for the big stage.
He wasn't ready for the big boy seat. He's got to have a little more experience in that car. Super Formula car is not an F1 car.
No, by no means is
by a long shot. Yeah,
but
there was some news this week in a Formula One podcast where they were talking about Gene Haas and how sketchy of a businessman that he is.
What does he do?
Yeah.
So Connor had to clear the air and talking about what Gene Haas does for a living.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell us what you told the people about Gene Haas.
Yeah, I basically woke up and I was at work and seen it's a podcast. I can't remember which one it is. But they were saying something about like how Lawrence Stroll is being now basically going to be the Aston Martin name for F1. It's because he just put so much money. And then they're saying like, well, him and Gene are the only two that individually put money into it. And they were like, well, what does Gene do? Where does he get his money? We were talking about that last week of how, where does he get all that money? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to clear the air. I always love to just write something in a comment section sometimes once in a while. It's what social media is there for. So I put in there, I was like, Haas makes machinery, not just race cars. And that shit fucking blew up. It's still blowing up right now. Look, let me open up my talk
I think
right
last
now.
we looked was close to 1,200 likes.
It was
Yes.
1,200 likes. Let's see. I got 34 just now in the past hour. Let's see here. I'm sitting at 1,177 likes.
Oh, so just shy of 200 or 1,200.
Yep. And I have
Well,
people,
I mean,
I even have people underneath my comment because I had actually what's funny too. I had a fella say onto my comment, I replied to it if I can see it, because 1,000 people that thing. He was basically like, "There's no way that he makes that much money." Right?
oh, dude, Haas CNC
And
makes
then
so much money.
I replied to that, and I was all like, "Haas CNC literally is like one of the biggest companies in the world, and a CNC machine is not fucking cheap." Excuse
No,
It is not cheap.
Those machines are not cheap.
at
I
all.
remember working for a business where I did machining in the summer, and I would just put the part into the thing, and it would sing.
Yeah.
But no, it's one of those things where, you know, you watch them firsthand, you see them firsthand. I mean, there's basically half of our shop floor was full of the Haas CNC machine.
Yeah,
So
and
I mean,
people
you know,
buy
it's just one of
multiple at
those
a time.
things where half of our shop floor is filled with those. I mean, how many other shops across America are filled with those things? And even a lot of the race teams, you know, cup teams back in the day before we went to this kit car, were making their own parts, probably with his machine.
Yeah,
Guarantee they were.
You know,
and probably across the planet too. He's probably got, especially being in F1 and they see that name, that's what it's there for, you know. So
right.
the man is loaded.
Yeah, he's
The
got a
man's
lot of
rolling
money.
in the
The man
dough.
is
I
loaded.
mean,
He's
Why
got
do
a
you
lot of
think-
screw you money.
Why do you think Gunther was always on the phone like, "Oh man, we fucked up, you know, we screwed up"? That's the money. That's where the money comes
Exactly.
from.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. Well, anything else to discuss in regards to Formula One
No.
today? When's the
Lewis.
race for Formula One?
The only thing that I can,
I think around 12 or 1 o'clock usually.
yeah, it's gonna be right around 1 o'clock,
I can tell you.
midnight, 1 o'clock. So the only thing I gotta say is I hope that Ferrari can bounce back, because last week really broke my heart. I'm not gonna lie. Lewis had that thing in the bag, and it broke my heart because, you know, a half inch may not seem like a lot, but it's a lot.
It's against regulation.
You think I don't know this? You don't think I know this?
The FIA is more strict than NASCAR when it comes to their,
facts. When it comes to their floor,
Hey.
yes, facts.
So are rear wings.
Okay, Red Bull. Flexi wing using fools over there.
I'm talking about 21, partner.
Yeah, flexi wings.
Oh, and let's not forget they did win the championship thanks to
Michael Massey.
thanks to. No, Mikey, it's so not right.
Mikey,
That
no.
wasn't right.
It wasn't, but at the same time,
It was right.
like me and Mike were talking about the other day.
Should have ended under a safety car.
So we all know Lewis was gonna win, right?
Oh, yeah, we all knew that.
I'm a Red Bull, I'm a Max guy, right? I knew Lewis was gonna win. He was so far ahead. But I think about this right here. Equal points, literally equal points on the last race. Why not?
Lewis was gonna win that race regardless.
It's fucking.
But I still think that race should have ended under safety car, because the rules state all lap cars are to unlap themselves, not some of them, all of them. And by the time they would have gotten around, the race would have been over.
Mhm.
Simple as that. That's what the rules state. They went against the rules.
But a
That's
last
where
lap battle.
They had to pull a NASCAR to get some hype for their last.
well, I will blame Drive to Survive on this one. Do you hear me, Netflix? This is your fault.
This is Netflix.
This is your fault,
Yeah.
Netflix.
4 years later, still Netflix's fault.
It's all Netflix's fault. Yes.
They had
But-
a message pop up on Latifi's deal down at on his steering wheel. It says they said, "Do it now."
Cause
Do it
drama.
now.
Spingate.
Do it now.
We're going back to 2009. We're gonna take the crash gate into effect, and we're actually not gonna investigate.
Yeah. No,
Damn
they-
you, Latifi.
They probably told him race one, last race of the year. Do it big, bud. This is you.
Go big or go home. You're
That's
not
right.
gonna you're not
Just
gonna
win.
you're not gonna get a ride. So just go out with a bang.
That's right.
Literally.
I mean, he did get to drive the new car. Still sucked though.
I mean, it's Latifi.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be a good race coming down to
That's-
Japan.
That's if McLaren got their degradation down too, because remember,
Oh yeah, their tire deg was pretty bad.
P1, you know, they were Lando was complaining about it and fighting with his engineer about it's raining.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's graining, but they also resurfaced Japan. They also resurfaced Suzuka. You could tell it's brand new surface, so it's going to eat the tires. I mean, Lando knows this. He should know better, but I mean,
They push.
again, I mean, we saw it with we saw it at St. Pete, Gary. Tires were kind of graining down the front stretch. So,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
but
Absolutely.
no,
That's a little bit.
that's all our F1 news, really.
Okay.
Yep.
All righty. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for that. And Connor, thanks for
Right.
stopping by. And
It's fun.
deuces.
Adios,
We'll-
amigos.
Adios, Connor.
All right, so now we'll get down to some business here. We're not paying any bills, so,
Yeah,
but,
not gonna pay the bills just yet.
but you know, we do have some other things to talk about. We got some NASCAR news to go over, and we will dive into that here real quick. So, Darlington is this week,
Lady in Black, baby.
as we know, throwback weekend. Got a few cute little facts for you this week, Mike. So I'm just gonna bust through these real fast.
You know I like
This
my
is-
facts.
This is the 128th running of a cup race at Darlington. This is the 128th race.
128 races already.
Mhm,
It
mhm.
seems like just yesterday we were
They've
at
been racing there since
120.
1950. This is the 75th year of the track being open this year.
Man, it seems like just yesterday we were at 100 races at Darlington. Man, we're gonna be
Yeah.
at 200 before we know it.
Yeah, we are. Toyota has won the last 4 poles at Darlington. That is tied for their longest single track streak. I don't know what the other track was. I didn't see what that one was, but it is tied for their
Probably
longest streak at a
Martinsville or
single
Charlotte.
track. Yeah, probably. But there is a streak for one manufacturer in Darlington history to win 5 consecutive poles at that racetrack.
Can I take a wild swing in the dark at this one?
Let's take a wild swing in the dark. Let's hear it. Just to give you preference, it was mid-70s, if that helps you.
Mid 70s.
So think of all the manufacturers in the mid-70s. So you
That's
had,
a lot.
you-
You,
you
had
had-
Buick,
you had-
Oldsmobile.
you had Buick, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Chevrolet,
Plymouth.
Ford, Mercury, Dodge, Plymouth.
Man, I'm really torn here, so forgive me. I'm either gonna say it's either gonna be Plymouth or Dodge.
You're wrong.
No.
Mercury.
Buick? Mercury?
From 1975 to 1977. So I think both races in 75, both races in 76, and the spring race in 77, Mercury sat on the pole. I want to say the Wood brothers had a lot to do with it, because if you think about it, in the mid 70s,
Yeah.
they had
They
David
were
Pearson
Mercury.
running
Yeah.
the Mercury.
Yeah.
And I think you could probably throw probably one of the Holman Moody cars in there as well.
Yeah.
I think they were around in the 70s still. So But yeah, Mercury has the record to this day. That streak has not been broken yet. So
Well, like
Toyota today during Cup qualifying has a chance to tie that record, and then when they come back for the fall race for the Southern 500,
break
they
it.
will have a chance to break said record.
Well, like
And
Alan Jackson
2311
once
swept
said,
the polls last year, just for preference. Bubba got a poll, I want to say in the spring, and I think Tyler Reddick in the fall. So,
oh yeah, that's right, they did.
so that was last year. First season since 2019. This is just in general. Through the first 7 races, with not a repeat pole winner. This is the 4th time now that this has occurred in the modern era. 1998, 2014, obviously 2019 and 2025. We just talked about those two.
Right.
So, first time in 6 years that it's happened, and only the 4th time in the modern era.
Wow. Man, I'm still shocked. Man, Mercury. Well, like Alan Jackson said, I'm going to buy me a Mercury and drive it up and down the road.
That's right. That's right. So, Xfinity, this is not a Dash for Cash race, but they do have 4 Dash for Cash races. Last week at Martinsville, set the qualifying for the next one at Bristol here next week. But the 4 Dash for Cash races, as we already knew, Miami was one, Martinsville last week, Bristol next week, and then Rockingham when they go there.
Rockingham is deserving. Rockingham's deserving of the Dash for Cash, but man, I'm surprised Darlington isn't one of them this year because it's normally been one.
Yeah, normally it has been one, but this year I think they just went with Rockingham because
because it's its first race back and it's going to be a very memorable race.
Make it a big race because it's going to be basically the premier series of that weekend. They have ARCA and Truck earlier in the weekend, and then they'll have the Xfinity series on Saturday. So,
oh man, now that you say the ARCA car, that's kind of got me ready for the ARCA cars to go there in iRacing now.
Yeah. So ARCA is making a return to the Rock as well. The ARCA East series I know has kind of had their finale there a few times. The big ARCA series in general had their finale there from like 2009 to 2011 or something like that.
Yeah, till they stopped going there.
Basically until they stopped going there. And Toledo was always toward the end of their season anyway. It was either like their second to last race or last race of the year. And now Toledo's the finale there. So.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, and if you think about it, they're forever. Before NASCAR bought out ARCA, it was actually the headquarters of the ARCA series was in Toledo.
Oh, that's right. It was.
Yep. And then Flat Rock Speedway is also owned by ARCA. It's an ARCA-owned track, same with Toledo. So
I did not know. I didn't even know that ARCA owned Toledo. That's
technically
cool.
I guess you could say NASCAR now owns those two.
Well, yeah, NASCAR. Yeah. That's cool. I did not know that. That's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad Rockingham's back. It's needed to be back for a long time.
And I'm hoping that they could pack the house so that way a cup race in the future.
Yes, sure. I would love to see a cup race back at Rockingham.
I think it's going to come, unfortunately, at the expense of one of the 1.5 miles or maybe the Darlington Spring Race, but I think it can happen.
I'd be okay with losing the Darlington Spring Race and the throwback race being in the fall.
Well, I've heard that the throwback race would actually move to a different track, whether that would be Rockingham or possibly the Food City 500.
Okay. Hold on. Hear me out. A Bristol throwback race would actually be lit. I would love to see I would be all for it. Like, but it has to be the night
red, white, and blue like they did back in the 70s and 80s there.
Mm-hmm. But it has to be the night race.
Nah, make it the day race. It's fine.
The night race, I think.
The night race is in the middle of playoffs, and NASCAR doesn't want to have a distraction of a throwback week in the middle of playoffs.
You know what? That's valid.
I can respect that.
I can respect that.
So, but other news in Xfinity Series, Sammy Smith was fined I think 25,000 or 50,000.
Yes,
and he got
it was 25K.
50 points, 25K and 50 points. So, for his actions last week at Martinsville, which no shocker there.
I mean, and
they had to go with the precedent they set last season in the Cup Series with Austin Dillon.
They did. So, I mean, I'm kind of gonna channel my inner Dale Jr. and say this: don't drive like a dumbass. I mean that's all it takes. I mean, he sent it in there. pretty damn deep. If when you look at it, he's sitting in there
He's
deep
sitting over
because
really
of
deep. I thought I
like
sent it in deep last Wednesday. At
oh dude, yeah,
he,
no, you
he made
definitely
mine look
did.
like child's play.
He made yours look like a his was a baby throwing a tantrum. Yours was just a oopsie.
Yeah. So Creed finished second in that race, as we know. That was his 14th career second place finish at Martinsville last week. Most without a win in series history. 14 second place finishes before he gets his first win.
I don't think he's ever going to win Martinsville. If he does, it's
just a 14th second place finish just in general throughout his career. He hasn't won a race yet. So
I don't think I think he's going to pull a Michael Waltrip. And you know how much I love Michael Waltrip.
Well, Michael at least won like 10 Xfinity races.
I mean, that's fair. But my comment still stands. He's going to be the Michael Waltrip of the Xfinity Series without a win and 400-something starts.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, but yeah, so that was interesting about Creed. So I got some other stats for you here. We got some 100-win teams in the Xfinity Series. I'll talk about those here in a minute. But RCR last week when they won with Austin Hill in that last lap chaos, that was the 100th career win for RCR in the Xfinity Series. Now, this is just Xfinity Series only. It was their 100th win. And going into this week at Darlington, they have not, RCR in the Xfinity Series, again, this is Xfinity only, has not won at Darlington. They've had 5 runner-up finishes at Darlington.
Oh, they're due for one then.
So they are due for one. They might go back to back and get 101 this week, but
that would be kind of cool.
So, fun facts here. Junior Motorsports, they are 9 wins away from 100 Xfinity wins in their company history, which is pretty remarkable if you think about it. They didn't start winning races until 08. So from 08 to now, they've won 91 races. That's pretty incredible. So they are 9 wins away from 100. The other 3 teams that have 100 wins or more, this is not going to shock you. I think with this list, that I'm going to tell you. JGR has the most.
Not a shocker. Right?
Because like literally 95 out of Kyle Busch's 100-some wins in Xfinity have come with, JGR. So 215 wins for JGR overall. I didn't realize it was that high until I saw the stat today. 215 Xfinity wins in general for Joe Gibbs Racing.
Holy!
Think of all the drivers I've driven for them. You had, Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart, Denny Hamlin has driven for them, Christopher Bell more recently.
Terry Labonte.
Terry Labonte has probably made a few starts for them. I'm sure. I know definitely Cup for sure.
Yes.
They, got rid of Leffler. He was one of the first guys to get in there, but that was because of the provisional rule and they wanted to guarantee a starting spot. So
exactly.
But yeah, if you think about it, that list of drivers that have driven for JGR, Eric Almirola twice.
That's an extensive list when you think about it.
It's probably a long list. I think Mike Bliss has won a race for
them.
Yeah,
I forgot about Mike Bliss ran one.
Mike McLaughlin, Magic Shoes McLaughlin, he won a couple races for Joe Gibbs back in the day in the Xfinity car. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting list. I'd have to go through and see who the full list of winners are in their Xfinity time, but it's pretty long. A lot of champions on that list, and maybe wannabe champions if you count Denny Hamlin. So 215 wins for Joe Gibbs Racing. Roush, Fenway, Keselowski, so they count all their history. So going back to the Roush days when they had the Winn-Dixie car with Mark Martin, 138 wins. I'm willing to bet Mark Martin probably has at least
half of that.
So
yeah, he's got
definitely at least 40 of those. Because there for a while it was him and I want to say Jack Ingram as the leaders for all-time wins in the Xfinity Series.
Think so.
Before Kyle Busch just blew that out of the water. So yeah, 138 wins for RFK. So they actually held the record for the longest time until JGR passed that one up. So they think of all the drivers that have driven for RFK, right? Jeff Burton, Mark Martin, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, Stenhouse. That's a pretty extensive list as well. And a
that-
lot of
that-
Xfinity champions on that list too.
Yes, lots,
So,
lots.
Yeah, so interesting list there. And then RCR, of course, with 100, and of course, Jeff Burton also contributed to that. Kevin Harvick won
He
a bunch
did.
of races for RCR.
Bliss
Clint
did as
Bowyer.
well.
Yeah, I think Mike Bliss. Yeah,
He drove the 2-car at one point. Mike Bliss drove the 2-car at one
so did
point.
Ron Hornaday. I think Ron Hornaday's got a couple wins there.
Yep.
And so far, for Xfinity this year on the NASCAR side, Chevrolet has led 77% of the laps this season.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean that
Ford
that's
doesn't really have a presence. Chevrolet has kind of been the dominant because I think they take up literally out of the 38 cars that start a race. I think they take up like 20.
Oh yeah,
and then
they
Toyota,
take up
it's
quite a
literally
bit.
just excuse me. Toyota, it's literally just JGR and Sam Hunt.
Yeah.
So Chevrolet takes up most of the field. So Ford, I think, has really got to step up their game as far as getting into getting a top and that's where RFK I think could really come in back into the series at some point and take that over again.
Right.
But since Penske's out of it, because they the only really development driver they had there for the longest time was Cindric. So
I mean, and don't get me wrong. I don't think Cindric deserves to be in that 2-car. I really don't. I mean, you could put somebody else in there. And I think they would perform a lot better.
I will say there are times where he's shown a lot of speed and the car breaks.
You could say the same thing for God bless his soul. Poor Blaney. I mean, gets one engine rebuilt or after having that one blown up, and then having another engine just let go on him. I mean,
pretty crazy.
The bad luck that man has.
Yeah. Cup Series champion, right?
I mean, yes.
What does Kyle Petty have to do it?
I feel bad for Blaney, but I'm not a fan of Penske by any means in NASCAR. IndyCar, it's a different story, but NASCAR, not so much.
All right, so we do have to pay some bills here. We'll take an opportunity to do that with our podcast sponsor, W Energy. W Energy is a brand of energy drinks designed to be clean, flavorful, and focused on energy. Use code AS15TV for 10% off any order. Again, that is code AS15TV for 10% off on any order. Go to their website, w.gg, to place your order today. So, W Energy, folks, proud sponsor of All-Star 15 TV, and of course, Warrior Enterprises too. But we're on All-Star 15 TV today, so we're going to read that. Bring that in. Also, guys, for anybody watching, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Hit that notification bell for any time that All-Star 15 is live. Proud sponsor of Warrior Enterprises. So thanks to AJ Capola and all he does to let us crash his channel every Saturday, Sunday, whenever we're able to go live.
Come on. Sorry, the youngest decided she wanted to come in and say hi.
Yeah, that was sorry, folks.
Sorry about that.
For a moment. Anyways, so that is the ad read. We are going to move on to the NFL now. We've got some NFL news this week, just within the last few days. So just going to kind of recap what's been going on there. Julio Jones retired after 13 seasons, 7-time Pro Bowl.
What?
Yep, he has retired.
Oh, after 14?
13 seasons.
13. Wow, man, that's wild.
I don't think he was on a team last year. He's kind of bounced around the league the last few years since he's gotten off the Falcons. Really been dealing with a lot of injuries pretty much his whole career, honestly.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. His time in Atlanta was pretty physical.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
and he had Roddy White as a teammate there his first couple of years. But I mean, when you're a 6'3", 6'4" receiver like Julio was, and being as big as he is, people are gonna target you for sure.
The same way. It was the same way with Megatron. I mean,
Yeah, same way with Calvin Johnson. Same way with a few other guys. Calvin, I noticed, was a little more durable than most, but that's for sure. But yeah, Julio Jones retiring, probably on his way to Canton, Ohio, I would imagine. Has had a great career, was fantastic. Trey Lance is no longer a Dallas Cowboy. He is now a Los Angeles Charger, signed a 1-year deal with the Chargers this week. Case Keenum is back in the NFL.
Jerry, sell the team.
Sell the team, Jerry.
You're pissing me
Case
off,
Keenum
Jerry.
has signed with the Chicago Bears on a 1-year deal.
Wow, that's
he's
a
back in
bold
the
move,
NFL?
Cotton.
Well, it's backup quarterback to Caleb Williams, but yes.
I mean,
Gotta do what
bold
you gotta
move,
do.
Cotton.
The tush push is being evaluation for a ban to not run the tush push. So,
Hey, Roger Goodell, blow me, dog. The tush push is great. We need it.
yeah, we need some evolution and what's it called?
Innovation.
Innovation. There we go. Thank you. Need some innovation in today's NFL game. I'm okay with the play. It's just a glorified quarterback sneak. So if
It's
you ban
all
the
it
tush,
is.
if you ban the tush push, is the quarterback sneak gonna be banned?
Ban the quarterback sneak. If we're gonna do that, ban the quarterback sneak because that's total BS.
Just throwing that out there. It has been moved. They had the league meetings earlier this week, maybe last week. It has been pushed to the league. There's going to be another league meeting in May to talk about the tush push and a couple other NFL rules to start throwing down for gameplay. Of course, Geno Smith a couple weeks ago was traded to the Raiders from the Seahawks. Raiders gave up a 3rd-round pick for Geno Smith. And for his efforts, they have decided to give him a 2-year extension with the Raiders for $85.5 million.
Ooh.
So I think they got their quarterback for the next couple of years. To me, at this point, kind of where Geno's at in his career, he's been in the league since 2013, I think. 2011.
Makes sense.
Either 2011 or 2013, I think. But he wasn't in the luck year.
Yeah, it was.
So I
it
think-
was definitely in Andrew Luck's year for sure.
No, it wasn't. The luck was drafted in 2012.
Oh,
Yeah. So I think it was 2013.
Oh, that's right.
Was when Geno got drafted because I think he was in that same draft class with EJ Manuel.
no. Yes, it
think it
was
was.
2013 because I was working at UPS the night that the draft was going on, and they ended up drafting Geno. I remember that.
Yeah, Geno was a 2nd-round pick that year when they still had Sanchez.
Let's not talk about porn stash guy, Mr. Butt Fumble himself.
Yeah, butt fumble guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Dark day in my history.
But yeah, Geno Smith getting an extension there with the Raiders. So that's pretty cool. I'm okay with that. I think that was a great signing.
And he's got Pete Carroll with him. I mean, he worked well under Pete Carroll's scheme.
He's had all of his success under Pete Carroll's guidance. So I mean,
Yes.
it makes sense for them to do that signing.
Oh, 100%.
So yeah, Geno Smith, $85.5 million extension. I do think that they draft a quarterback in this draft. Not in the 1st round because they got so many needs. It wouldn't shock me if they, spent a 2nd-round pick on a quarterback, or if they did one day 3, round 4 through 7. I don't see them getting back into the 3rd round.
Yeah.
But anything can happen. It's the NFL. But I do think they will spend a day 3 pick or a night 1 pick on a quarterback, or night 2 rather.
Now, see, and the same thing is I'm gonna say it. The same thing needs to happen for the Jets. I mean, the Jets need to do something. I'm tired.
Justin Fields.
I mean, look, I'm okay with that. I am perfectly fine with Justin Fields. Now let's build a damn team around the guy, please.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of God, all I want.
They got rid of Devontae. He's
gone.
He went to the Chargers.
And then,
or did he go to the Rams? I think he went to the Rams.
He went to the Rams, and then Aaron Rodgers is gone, and we fumbled these two. Garrett
Wilson's probably going to stay. I've heard he might not. I have to see how this year goes. I think for Garrett Wilson to stay or not. but I think Justin Fields is going to be all right in New York. I think with the new coach
I
they
think
got
he
Aaron
will.
Glenn, I think they're going to be fine.
And the fun fact about Aaron Glenn, he was one of our safeties back in the day.
Yeah, played a lot of safety, played a lot of
Played,
corner in the NFL. I think he
yes, and he's
played for
solid.
Houston. I think ironically he played for Detroit, played for New York, so makes sense. And he's been one of the better defensive coaches here in the last few years. I mean, look what he did with Detroit last year, with them literally falling apart at the seams with all those injuries, and all of them, basically all of them, were on the defensive side of the ball.
Yes.
So,
I think it's going to be a definite look up year for my Jets as well. I'm really hoping that
depending on who Aaron Glenn gets as his OC, that's going to be a very important.
yes, and that's what I was just about to say. Aaron Glenn needs a strong OC. He needs a strong OC, period, because he's a defensive guy. So he's
Same
gonna
with Ben
know
Johnson, Chicago. They need to make sure they get a
Mhm.
defensive coordinator.
Yes,
That's kind of where we're at. But
I think it's gonna be a good year draft wise for a lot of teams.
yeah, I think so. It's also kind of a make or break year for a lot of teams as well. You look at my Colts with the Ballard era. This is kind of
Yeah.
a make or break year for Chris Ballard and that whole organization as far as what they do in the draft and this year in general. Does Steichen stay? Does he go? Ballard, does he stay or does he go? So
I feel
just
like
things-
if you guys don't make the playoffs, Ballard's gone.
I
I think they're gonna fire
I
him.
will say they've made a lot of moves, a lot more moves than what Chris Ballard has done in the past. He's brought in a lot of outside free agents. I mean, he signed Tre'Davious Ward from the Niners, one of the top cornerbacks in the league. To the Colts. They signed a couple of guys for safety and in another corner. So they've made the right moves. Now we just got to see it executed on the field. I'm excited for who the defense coordinator is going to be in Indy. And Romo, I think he's going to be doing some pretty good things. And you notice that they got secondary help, which the Colts needed. And they brought in a secondary-minded defensive coordinator in Romo. So
Yes.
We'll see how the season goes. I think defensive line. I think they were fine. They didn't really need to address the defensive line. Linebacker, I think you could still make a couple of moves there, but secondary needed some desperate help, and they got what they got. So that was good. Joe Milton, former Michigan and Tennessee quarterback, drafted by the Jets or the Patriots last year. Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. They're the same team, just in two different cities. Anyways, trying to make a jab at both the Patriots and the Jets at the same time, and I accomplished that.
Bite me.
The Colts have more AFC East titles than the Jets.
I don't know. Shush. How dare you?
And they won the division more recent than the Jets.
Ouch! How dare you? Just twist the knife, my guy.
Anyways, Joe Milton got traded to the Dallas Cowboys this week, so he is now a Dallas Cowboy. Backing up Dak Prescott, probably going to be starting this year, in all honesty, because I don't think Ben DiNucci's there anymore. They got Cooper Rush, sorry, and they got rid of Trey Lance, so I think it's going to be Joe Milton's going to be the guy. It might be the future franchise quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
We've got to do something, and like I said when we started this, Jerry, sell the team.
Yeah.
Sell the team, or give your son control, something.
Yeah, so it was a day 3 pick that the Raiders, I have called Jerry Jones the modern day Al Davis.
That's an understatement.
Anyways, day 3 pick for Dallas Cowboys is what they gave up to Joe Milton, which I think is a very smart move. Solidifies their backup quarterback position, like I said. Depending on what they want to do with Dak, you might have a franchise guy there in the making. Potentially.
Yeah.
Could throw a 70-yard bomb, but he'll miss a 5-yard throw right in front of his face. So they can work on the short stuff and not mess up his long ball. I think they'll be electric.
Oh yeah, 100%.
NFL draft is here in a couple weeks. Thursday after Easter, April 24th through the 26th. We will provide mock drafts starting next week. we will be going over those NFL mock drafts. We're just gonna do the first round, so keep that in mind. We're just gonna do the first round. That's all. So that is all of the NFL news for today. Wasn't sure what to cover in hockey and baseball, so I'm sorry. I'm not in quite the loop on those two sports.
Yeah, and that's okay.
So
yeah, that's a me and KPGO thing for sure.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a pretty short pod today. I normally try to aim for around 90 minutes, but we'll be lucky to hit an hour today, 45 minutes in.
Yeah.
So.
And we don't have any Masters news just yet because that's usually a all three of us thing, and that's gonna be for another show. Honestly, I think we'll do that next week.
Right? The Masters.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do that next week.
Yeah. So, the Masters is next week, right? The tournament.
Hold please.
I can't remember when it is. I think it's next week.
It to the 13th. So yeah,
next week. So yeah, we'll have we'll talk about the Masters a hair. I'll talk about them a little bit. Probably go set live same time next week, probably around noon Eastern.
Yeah, because we'll definitely
gotta watch the Masters in the afternoon.
Yeah, we'll be able to talk about the first two rounds for sure.
Yeah, so that'll be exciting. Men's the par 3 thing is Wednesday.
Oh, the par 3 contest is so good, man. You can't. That's a whole party at one of the most sophisticated tournaments that we've got.
Yeah,
you can't. It's the only time you get to party at the Masters, the par 3 challenge, baby.
That's right.
I mean, because you look at the Waste Management Open, and it's a whole party every time.
Yeah, especially the 16th.
The 16th, baby. Yeah. It's the 16th.
That's a party in itself.
Oh yeah.
So we do have men's college basketball tonight. Final four. So we're coming to the end of the college basketball season. A lot of people are sad.
I'm one of them.
I'm a massive college basketball.
I am too.
By the way, I just want to mention that I am 74% right in our bracket.
I don't care. My bracket was day one.
Second to Campigio. He beat me this year.
I'm not happy.
Normally, he's at like 50%. So
that's funny.
I got 3/4 of the Final Four right, though. I had Florida, and then I had St. John. Actually, no, I had Michigan State. Either way, bust on that. So it's Auburn, Florida, Houston, and Duke. 4 1 seeds. Last time this happened, Mike, when there were 4 1 seeds that made it to the Final Four, was 2008. And do you know where the Final Four of 2008 was at?
Was it at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis?
No, it was at San Antonio.
Oh, what? Oh, it was.
Was it San Antonio?
It was.
And that is the only other time that this has happened, by the way, when all 4 1 seeds have made it to the Final Four round. So all 4 regional 1 seeds won their regional championship last week in the Sweet 16 Elite 8 matchups, and now they are here for the Final Four. The road ends here in San Antonio. Next year, by the way, the tournament is going to be in Indianapolis as far as the Final Four goes. So that will be hosted at Lucas Oil Stadium next year. But for this year, 2 games tonight. Florida Auburn, they're going to take the early game at 6 o'clock. I know it says 6:09. I'm just going to round up 6 o'clock, or round down rather. And then after that is going to be Houston versus Duke. It says 8:49. It might be closer to 9:30. Because after the first game is over, they give about 20 minutes for in between games, so the teams can warm up and whatnot. So it'll probably be closer to 9:30. My prediction, I've said this before. If Auburn shows up tonight and plays their butts off, I think they are in the national title game on Monday night. I really do. But here's the thing. Florida is a very, 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 very good basketball team this year.
Yes, they are.
They've basically been number 1. I know Auburn's been number 1 in the nation, but Florida has been a very close number 2. One of the best teams in the SEC all year long. So Florida, Auburn. I'm going to say Auburn because I actually picked St. John's out of this game right here, this first game tonight. I actually picked them to go to the national title game. They obviously did not make it anywhere near close. So my goal is Auburn, and of course in the Duke Houston game tonight, I picked Houston to win that one out of the 8:49 game, and I have Houston winning it all. That's one of the one seeds that I thought was going to be really, really good. I looked into their team. I've looked into all the teams, all the top teams that were competing in the tournament this year, and Houston just kind of stuck out to me above all the other ones, especially with their incredible defensive length. All 5 starters have a wingspan of at least 6'9".
I was about to say, I think we were talking about this the other day,
And
wasn't
they've
it?
had the number 1 defense in the nation this year.
Yeah,
And
because I
when
thought
you,
we were talking about it.
we were, and when you come to a game like this, when you're on a stage like this, Mike, especially when you're playing in a football arena, or a football stadium, not we can't call them an arena, it's a football stadium. The sightlines are different.
Oh, absolutely different.
Now the length of like the court and everything else, it's exactly the same. I mean, you see your home gym, but you know, for a place like, you know, going into San Antonio, the sightlines are different, and so typically shooting is not as good. So you have to rely on your defense. And Houston this year has been one of the top defenses in the country. So I have to give the nod to Houston. I think they will beat Duke tonight. You know, in the Final Four game at 9:30. It will be 9:30. You watch.
Yeah.
It'll be 9:30. So, and I'm excited for the first game too. I think we're in for a barn burner this weekend for college basketball. To end the tournament and the college basketball season. Of course, one shining moment after the national title game Monday night. So you don't want to miss that. Probably the favorite part of everybody for the tournament, because it's like the last thing of college basketball for the year until October. Woo. Anyways, so really looking forward to that, Mike. What are your thoughts for college basketball tonight? Any predictions for yourself? Do you have anybody that you're looking at in particular out of one of those 2 games?
I'm gonna say Florida, man.
Florida out of the first game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, again, not a bad pick. I think Florida
I think is going to do it.
And then what about the Houston Duke game?
Give me Houston. Give me Houston. Kelvin Sampson's really surprised me a lot this year. Yeah. After watching these last couple of games with Houston, Kelvin Sampson's lit a fire under their ass, man. He wants it. He wants it. I'll say it. Yeah. I mean, it
would be his first national title as a head coach.
And having watched him coach at OU, he deserves it, man. He deserves it.
Yeah, he was a good coach at IU too. His last win at IU for Kelvin Sampson was against Purdue. And who did he beat to get to the Final Four, Mike? Purdue.
What I'm about to say, wasn't it Purdue?
Mm-hmm. They beat Purdue. So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting here tonight and Monday night to determine a national champion. I think it's going to be interesting. So
it's going to be very, very interesting. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, so we've got that going on. But that is going to do it for us today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Mike, any final thoughts on sports this weekend, from racing to NFL? Basketball, got anything?
We really didn't touch on IndyCar, so we'll probably touch on that.
They don't really have a race or anything going on until next weekend. So
because Thermal Club seemed to be pretty decent to watch when we watched it. When the internet, other than the internet going out, we're not going to talk about that, Fox.
I don't think it was entirely their fault, but
no, I don't think it was either. But I mean, we're gonna see some interesting stuff going into Long Beach. I think we did have a couple of teams get popped in IndyCar. and find. So
Yeah,
we'll
the
see how
Long
this
Beach
handles.
Grand Prix is next week. And that is
Mhm.
their, like I've said before, that is their second biggest event outside of the Indianapolis 500. So
And on top of that, we've got IMSA that same weekend.
they
So
sure do.
it's
Yeah,
gonna
so
it's gonna be pretty
their
interesting.
schedule in April and May is kind of low, but we've got April 13th, like we mentioned, next week is going to be Long Beach. Then May 4th, May the 4th be with you.
Mm-hmm.
They will be at Barber Motorsports Park. May 10th, they will be at Indianapolis Road Course for the Suncio Grand Prix. And then, of course, the Indianapolis 500-mile race is after that on May 25th. So,
Okay.
and then, of course, it's Detroit June 1st. So that's kind of a look ahead at IndyCar over the next couple of months.
When we leave it on this thing with Detroit, bring back Belle Isle. I do not like this layout we've got now. Granted, it's the old F1 layout. Bring back Belle Isle.
I don't think they're going to do it.
They won't do it. They won't do it. We can beg and plead, but they won't. I mean,
just like they need to add more races to the schedule or more.
I mean, we were supposed to see a Chicago street course race with the Indy cars, but that never came to fruition.
Yeah, NASCAR took that date instead.
Yeah, NASCAR decided to say, ha 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 ha. We were here first.
Instead of going to Arlington, Texas next year and racing at the Cowboys Stadium,
I'm okay with
Motor Speedway.
I'm okay with the Arlington race.
Okay, fine. Then have two races in the state of Texas. One of them needs to be at Texas Motor Speedway.
Not COTA.
Yeah.
Not COTA. Let's get away from COTA, please.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Until we can figure that place out, let's get away from COTA. But no, that's really all my final thoughts, my guy.
So, all right. Well, going to be a fun week of sports coming at you here with the Masters being next week. We've got Long Beach. We've got Bristol Day Race. We've got IMSA. We've got IndyCar. We've got it all for you here next week. Hell, Formula One might be having a race. I don't know. Formula One racing next week.
Hold, please.
We're holding. Waiting just for you.
See, we've got. Yes, we are racing next week. We are going to Bahrain.
Bahrain. Okay,
we're in a. It's looking like we're entering our
spring swing.
Our spring swing and our Middle Eastern swing. So Middle Eastern swing part 1, because Middle Eastern swing part 2 is at the end of the year with Qatar and Abu Dhabi.
Well, yeah, because it's middle of their summer, so it makes sense. And there's just a bunch of sand there.
Sand, yes, that.
You see that? That's sand.
Oh man, that's
you know what exactly what video I'm referencing right now, don't you?
Yes, yes, I do.
Sure do.
That's
all right,
so
before
messed
we get
up.
canceled
That's
here,
great.
we are done for the day. Thanks again so much for watching this CL Star Sports Report. I'm Gary. That's Mike. Thanks to Connor today for filling in, and of course, we hope to see Mike next time we go live. But until then, we will see you in the next one, and that is it.